Anonymous. State of corruption. Internal Revenue Service corruption. Mike Gill recently had a conversation with the IRS of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Why did they call him? They called him because they wanted to find out where he was, and to shut him up so he wouldn't expose the corruption throughout the state of New Hampshire. The Internal Revenue Service has been going after Mike Gill since he has been exposing the deep state throughout New Hampshire. People like Bill Shaheen, who has been a part of this corruption for years, protecting drug dealers throughout the state for his own financial interests. Mike Gill remains on the run, hiding from the corrupt, as they try to do whatever they can to silence him. The corrupt had done everything through legal means to leverage his life, and his now unfortunately defunct business. Mike Gill has caught people like Tim Campus. The criminal division of the Internal Revenue Service put a mole in his office years ago. On January 2018, Mr. Campus retired, possibly due to the fact that he was exposed by Mike Gill. The following is an audio of a conversation between Mike Gill and an agent of the Internal Revenue Service in Portsmouth, the very same Portsmouth office that tried to leverage him. They try to contact him every year to do a missing persons check on him, then report back to the corrupt to let him know where he is. Mike Gill owes the Internal Revenue Service nothing. You will notice in the audio that the agent keeps asking to meet him in person. The Internal Revenue Service does not meet with people in person, unless you make an appointment with them. If they wanted the evidence so badly, all the agent needed to do was ask Mike Gill to mail it to him. But yet they didn't. The agent on the phone refused to talk or refer Mike Gill to his superiors. It was all a trap for Mike Gill to find out where he is, and to silence him. I will end our thought there. We are anonymous. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Let's end corruption throughout the entire nation. You better expect it to end. Please don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel. I am not affiliated with Mike Gill or his organization State of Corruption New Hampshire. I am Anonymous State of Corruption. Please like, follow, and support Mike Gill on his social media pages. Thank you.
Elaine, hi, it was Mike Gill. Call. Listen, very important. I understand we have a meeting coming up, like in a few minutes. But before we have this meeting, I think it was important to, Eileen, to understand. You're working out of the Portsmouth office. Do you know that's the office I worked with 10 years ago? Yeah, when they tried to start leveraging me. Maybe you know Tim Powell. He was the manager there. Right. And then I brought the criminal division of the IRS in. Tom Morley, maybe you heard him talking to Tim Campus, the head of TITCA, the criminal division of the IRS, regarding your office. Right. And about extortion and how they put a mole in my office. Now, here's a question. Before we have a sit down, they put multiple moles in my office. Brian Toomey, Kerry Lemieux, Isaac Crane, multiple attorneys that I was paying up to $200,000 a year. Right. So you know what? They were really working for you, protecting your criminality. So I need to ask, how do we write those off? Are those is that a deduction for me, or is that a deduction for you? And I am looking forward to an appointment under camera. Right. I ain't going to be talking to you other than under camera. Right? You must be late to the game. So I want you to investigate this file. And listen, don't worry about it. I'm lost millions, fighting corruption. So you guys owe me money. So if you think you're going to leverage me, bad day. Right. So this is Mike Gill. Don't forget to call me. I'm look forward to our appointment. Thank you. This was the IRS. Now they're moving in. Every aspect. I don't owe them money. That's why Titka, the criminal division, was saying I didn't tell him anything. I didn't give him anything. I didn't tell him we have a mole. Right. I'm supposed to get nervous out of all this. Well, good luck. Now I'm reporting you. You see this information. You see me coming forwards with this. You heard the Titka criminal inspector. This is the guy who runs it all. Campus saying he has a mole. You understand that these moles are witnesses to get us everybody. The IRS, United States, who will put you in jail, will take your home, will garnish your wages, but are acting criminally, work for Shaheen and Clinton to target their enemies. And trust me, I am their enemy. Right. Mike Gill, state of corruption.
I don't care. My concerns are wrong thing. They're the wrong thing it has. So that's something I did not forgive them. In one capacity told me like something like a memo email. Good times, Tim. This is gonna be your case. I gotta call him, Chris, and I'm gonna tell him like we have a plan. We have an undercover.
Oh, Jesus, Mother of Joseph. Oh, you're going to use that recording?
Hello, Jeremiah? Yes, sir. This is Mike Gill. Hey, Mike. How you doing? Good. I guess my son said we talked 6 years ago? We did. Yeah, do you remember? Hang on, let me put you on speaker. Sorry, it's a matter of policy. I got to talk in the midst of another agent. Does that mean I can record it on my end? We don't allow for that. We're not recording, to be honest with you. Okay. Yeah. Do you remember when we talked? You worked for Titka, didn't you? No, I didn't work for Titka. Let me just have a brief conversation. All right. Yeah. Hang on one sec, Mike. Okay. Hey, Mike, can you hear me? I can hear you. I don't remember. I thought you were from Titka. No. So here's the deal. So hold on. 6 years ago, I was working with Titka for 3 years. I think I introduced you to Titka. I'm not sure about that because I don't remember you that because I was working with Tom Morley and Miss McDowell and then later on at Tim Campus. So are you associated with them? No, I don't work for them. I work for IRS Criminal Investigation. So what happened was yourself and a paralegal came down to the office here in Portsmouth looking to talk to someone about an audit or a criminal investigation. I think I do remember that. Yeah, and so I told you. So we met in the first floor in a conference room in the federal building here in Portsmouth, and that's where I work. I work on Daniel Street, the McIntyre building. Did you know the Portsmouth office, the IRS office, offered me a $50 million settlement in writing with Tim Powell's name on it? No, I wasn't aware of that. Well, I still have it, and it's on the internet. You can see it. Tim Powell from the IRS, Bill Shaheen, all the accountants that worked on my case, including the IRS Portsmouth office. So I'm a little apprehensive seeing that you're from Portsmouth. But go ahead, Jeremiah. Yeah, no big deal. So you talked to myself and another agent, Judy Cordier, and I think you came in with a paralegal, a lady that worked at your mortgage business. Yeah, Miss Lemieux, who turned around to be a mole, working with Shaheen. Oh boy, she's on the settlement agreement too. Releases. I've got over 60 names on releases. Oh wow. Yeah, no. So we had a brief conversation, and you explained that you wanted to report some wrongdoing on the part of some IRS employees. So I told you, I said, you know what, I don't deal with that kind of stuff, and that Tigda deals with it, and that Tigda was in Boston, and I think they were in the JFK building at the time. I worked 3 years with Tom Morley, only to find out that the Titka and the IRS hired an accountant named Curtis Morley. Curtis Morley was the brother of Tom Morley that was intercepting my mail for 3 years. And worse than that, when I spoke to Tom Morley on recording, he forgets to hang up the phone, talks to Tim Campus, and we get it on recording that Tim Campus and them were running an operation inside my office with plants. Now, all this is with the U.S. Attorney Llewellyn in Massachusetts. It's also with Trump's people. I don't know if you know a gentleman named Howley, but I had a 3-hour meeting with him with all that information. No. Oh, this is going to
Tom Morley told me it was the biggest criminal case he's ever seen with the IRS. Well, you know what? It's bigger than that, and it ties into Shaheen and the money laundering. It ties right into the Ukraine. Go ahead, though.
Okay, interesting. So, no, that's very interesting.
But Jeremiah, not to interrupt you, but do you know in the meantime, they forged my signature on the DRA return for that 11 because they were using that to leverage me. Since then, they took my business and they took my house, and I've got over 1,000 inquiries to the IRS for help, all recorded, fax machine, email, there's no question. But right now, they've taken everything I owned in leveraging my children, even tried to murder me 3 times, all with the FBI having the information. But go ahead, I'm sorry. I just want you to put you up to date of what's going on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the background. No, so as you know, I've been trying to find you. I wanted to talk to you. So I went to your house and saw that the house was vacant. So
Vacant. It was for the drug cartel, a guy named Dick Aganos, with Bill Shaheen representing him, the same guy who represented me and used Gene Shaheen to leverage me with the IRS. They wind up auctioning off my home. Well, that's why I was asking for the IRS for help all these years. They were leveraging me with the IRS. But go ahead. But now you're catching up. So there is no home. There is no business. I have no properties, all while the IRS waited for the help for the IRS.
yeah, so I mean, we usually don't talk to family members, but I can't find you. So I went down to go see your son at his office on Friday afternoon, and I talked to him, Mike Jr.
Yeah.
And so I talked to him. I explained the situation. I said, hey,
What is the situation?
well, I just want to talk to you about some tax matters.
What do you want to talk about? I asked you to go to. How about this? Tax matters. What you should talk to is U.S. Attorney Lullen.
Okay.
Check.
Yeah.
So in other words, is this about not paying taxes?
Yeah, it's about filing.
Well, filing. How about this? For all these years, I've been looking for the IRS to do it. Not filing, go to Tom Morley. Tom Morley instructed me not to file because it would cover up the criminal investigation for 3 years. So what I would say, talk to Tom Morley. And I only lost tens of millions, everything. So the IRS can't say they didn't reach out. In fact, it was your own Portsmouth office that offered me the $50 million settlement.
Right.
So what I suggest for you to do is talk to U.S. Attorney Lullen. Talk to Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Oliventola.
Okay.
And you'll also notice if you call to Titka, the Treasury, there's supposed to be an investigation now, and I have a case number that's posted on the internet.
Okay. So what I'd like to do, Mike, is I'd like to talk to you in person if that's possible.
Well, you know something? I don't trust the Portsmouth office because they're the ones who generated this. This is the office that offered me the $50 million. And right now, I know that the IRS is sweating blood. You know why? Because I gave this information to Epoch Times and a guy named Howley. Howley's the one who investigated Shaheen for the IRS fraud. Howley's the one who interviewed me for 3 years. So I think, Jeremiah, this is trying to leverage me in the 11th hour. Because
I don't know. I'm not going in with that agenda, Mike.
but I think you are, Jeremiah. Why else would you wait all these years to call me?
I've been, I've been given some information, and there's some allegations about your tax situation, and I just
Allegations? My allegations was that they've been leveraging me. They offered me $50 million. I've been reaching out to the IRS every single year. This is what I believe. I believe the Portsmouth office and yourself is going to try to leverage me criminally to silence me and to accept that settlement. I mean, that's the only reason. I mean, we're not reaching out. I didn't talk to you 6 years ago. I didn't turn around and do this. This is exactly what's going on. So what I suggest is you tell Titka, the criminal division in Washington that has my evidence, you've got special agent is you tell Titka, the criminal division in Washington that has my evidence. You've got special agent in charge of 5 FBI, 5 states, Ventola, and U.S. Attorney Lullen, who represents them all. You turn around, you see all the evidence. You'll see everything that I gave them. In fact, if you talk to Tom Morley every week, or damn near every week, for 3 years, he was collecting evidence that I was sending him each and every week. So this is what they're doing now is they're trying to force a bankruptcy. So the IRS needs a settlement now because they know there's an investigation. So somebody from the Portsmouth office I've been expecting. And what they've been doing is right along is trying to extort me for my silence. So I think this is going to be part of that extortion.
Okay.
Right? Well, wait a minute. Maybe I'm wrong, Jeremiah. Are you telling me that you're investigating this case about the corruption that I've talked about? Or are you going to tell me saying, oh, suddenly about the filings?
Well, no, I mean, there's an allegation about the fact that you haven't filed tax returns in several years.
Well, I turned around and brought that to Ditka. I brought that to the IRS. Think about this. I had tens of millions of dollars. 30, 40 million started. They stole the money. As I was screaming, I've lost all my money, my house, all the IRS. Now the IRS comes. This is an extortion arm. Now, I got to tell you now, I have an agent here, too.
Like, who stole your money?
Well, Shaheen, who was in charge of the IRS, who controlled this, Senator Gene Shaheen, who's been cited for this. The IRS leveraged me for my silence, which is why they offered me $50 million. It's all signed by the attorneys, and they're the IRS and Shaheen and all there, and every accountant that touched it. And I was working for Titka for 3 years, Tom Morley, and then we find out that Titka ran a criminal cover-up. All the meantime, they were after me trying to settle. So the only thing left for them now to do is try to extort me. I got to tell you, there's a federal agent with me now.
Okay.
So in other words, everything's straight up. You don't have a problem.
What's the federal agent's name?
Should I tell them? No, they don't want you. They don't want. But how about this? Why don't you call the FBI and find out if that's the case?
I think I will after we have this conversation.
Absolutely do it. And start with U.S. Attorney Lullen. Start with turning around and start, then call Ventola. And then call Titka. There is a case number right now. So in other words, I know exactly what this is. 6 years and now, this is their piece of trying to threaten me on the deal again. Well, you know what? That ain't working. And now, you know what? You're one of the witnesses now.
Like this deal, did you sign a deal? I'm not.
Did I sign the settlement offer?
Yeah.
They signed it, and you'll see all the paperwork. I refused to sign it on the basis of the releases. It wasn't the $50 million. There was a problem with the money. The problem was with the releases, including your own Tim Powell and Bill Shaheen.
Okay.
See? So, and listen, you can pull it up. There's a video called Mike Gill, State of Corruption, the list. I put it out there. You see it. You see the signatures. You see Tim Powell. You see the IRS. So who made the, can you mind me saying, who made the allegation?
I can't.
Of course not. It's part of a plan, Jeremiah, right?
I don't know.
Well, I do. It comes from Gene Shaheen. Hey, listen, this is all part of an investigation, and I'm feeling pretty confident about this because Shaheen's being investigated now. And think about this. You know who Howley is? Patrick Howley?
I don't know.
Well, great.
Look him up.
You look him up, Patrick Howley. You can see Epoch Times, but you can see that Patrick Howley is the one who broke the story with the corruption between the IRS and Gene Shaheen using the extorting. You're going to see that I had a 3-hour meeting on video that went right to the president.
Mike, slow down, buddy. Slow down. How do you spell Howley? So I want to be able to look this up. How do you spell
Howley.
Okay.
You'll see him. You'll see his last story. He just broke the story that what's her name? Pelosi's son tied in with the Ukraine. He just broke that story maybe 10 days ago.
Okay.
So take a look at that. Now, he has it all. And I had a meeting with the bureau chief, and all on a 3-hour meeting. So you can tell Shaheen that this is the last bench effort, but they also included you in this investigation. Is that right?
I mean, I don't have any conversations with Jean Shaheen. I've never met her in my life.
Well, you know what? We'll work it back. But your office offered me $50 million. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't know what the basis of that is, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Extortion and corruption. I didn't owe the IRS any money. I paid them off. But they needed to use that piece to leverage me, as they did by forging my signature on a DRA return that allowed Shaheen to auction off the property to a drug cartel, all because I refused to give these criminal releases. I didn't give the head of the IRS in your own department, Powell, a release. I didn't give Shaheen a release. And now we've got Tom Morley on campus saying they have plants. And you know who those plants are? Brian Toomey, Isaac Crane. Those are witnesses that the feds have their information.
Like, I'm confused. You talk about leveraging and everything. I don't understand the whole leveraging bit. Can you explain it to me?
Well, how about this? Well, if they offer you $50 million, right?
Oh, so you're saying you were audited? There was
no, I wasn't audited.
Okay.
Listen, there was an audited settlement back in 11. We were all good, and in that settlement, right?
Was that the one for $50 million? I'm confused.
The settlement was $50 million is what they offered me. There was a few million, and I paid the settlement. We were done, except for Bill Shaheen wanted his release. Alex,
stop, Mike. I'm confused. There was an offer. You were audited. There was an offer and compromise for $50 million.
No. And I think you know. So let's make it clear. It was an audit. They leveraged me for my silence because I caught Shaheen in this deep state, Alex Walker corrupting the courts. So hold on, listen up, and I'll tell you.
I'm confused, Mike.
Well, then if you listen, I'll unconfuse you. So when I caught Shaheen corruptly, Bill Shaheen and his wife, Senator Jean Shaheen, and then Walker. So what happened was these guys were pay attention, these guys were my lawyers. So I caught them corrupting the courts, so they leveraged me for my silence, Eugene Shaheen using the IRS. Now, the IRS got caught extortion, got caught with the...
Mike, stop. I'm trying to connect the dots here. So, Bill Shaheen represented you? Bill Shaheen
and Alex Walker were my attorneys. Listen, were my attorneys, okay? I caught them with a Ponzi scheme called FRM.
You put them on a Ponzi scheme, okay?
Right. And now my lawyers turned around and told me not to say anything. And if I did, so when I did bring it out, Shaheen leveraged me with the IRS and Walker. So what they did was, hold on.
Mike, stop. So you revealed the Ponzi scheme, and now you're saying they're leveraging you by having the IRS come after you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, this is what happened. Listen to what I'm telling you. It's very, very simple. So these guys were my attorneys. I caught the Ponzi scheme, and then I caught them corruptly trying to leverage me and silence me along the way. And they include...
How did they leverage you?
Well, they leveraged me by threatening me with the IRS in an audit. Okay?
All right. So they threatened you with the IRS.
Right. So what happened was, in this audit and horses and so forth, whatever they said, then I just simply paid. So we were all good. The IRS, everything was settled. It was a couple million. I owned a bunch of racehorses. No problem. But
it was $1 million settlement as a result of
no $50 million settlement. That settlement went to me. Let's not try to confuse the situation.
Mike, stop. So you said there was an audit as a result of this leveraging.
No, I didn't say that. I think you're trying to manipulate it into that. All right, this is real simple. There was no audit. There was trying to confuse the situation.
Mike, stop. So you said there was an audit as a result of this leveraging.
No, I didn't say that. I think you're trying to manipulate it into that. All right, this is real simple. There was no audit. the thing with the IRS came up when I caught the Ponzi scheme and came forwards. Then Shaheen leveraged me with the IRS. Then they turned around and so did Walker with the DRA. So this went on for a couple years, and then they turned around. Hold on, listen up.
I'm trying to get up, Mike. I'm sorry, my mind doesn't work as fast as yours. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand.
You're right. Now listen. So, but I think you're trying to manipulate this into a different way. So what happened was, listen. So they turned around and tried to, and I caught them corruptly with the Ponzi scheme, corruptly with the judges. They both used the IRS, one with the Department of Revenue and the IRS with Shaheen. And what happened was I caught them. So I settled with the IRS, which was only a couple million, and then they came to me for their releases. I turned around and they brought their lawyers in. Their lawyers, Morrison Mahoney, you'll see, and there's the settlement for $50 million, where Bill Shaheen asked for his release, Alex Walker asked for his release, the IRS asked for his release, and your manager, Tim Powell, asked for release, amongst every lawyer and accountant that worked on it. And then they offered me $50 million. Now listen, hold on, they don't offer you $50 million when you're not being extorted. So here's the thing. They expected me to take the deal. When I said stuff it, I wouldn't give you releases, the IRS, Titka, Tom Morley, ran a criminal investigation for me for 3 years to only find out that James Shaheen was behind that. They turned around and covered it up for 3 years. I got them on tape with campus saying that they did. They were intercepting my mail with Curtis Morley from Titka's own brother. Now, and then they continue to offer me settlements. The hang-up would be that I didn't want to give these criminals releases, including your own department head and the Portsmouth office of the IRS. So
Mike, so if you were going to for you to release whatever you had, what were you releasing? I don't understand.
No, the releases was to hold all, say for instance, the IRS, Bill Shaheen, Walker, all these accountants, the Department of Revenue, New Hampshire Banking Commission, a release from liability. So they admitted that they extorted me. They admitted they were corrupt. They just assumed that I was going to take the $50 million.
So they offered you $50 million if you would release them of their liability. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying, and you get to read it. Go to the video called The List. Now, it's up on a few things like IRS on tape, the whole thing. But go to that video, The List, and you get to see them. And the beauty about this is their lawyers signed it.
So, all right, so this is the key thing. You found them guilty of doing X, Y, and Z, of extortion, essentially. They offered you...
Well, of running a Ponzi scheme, corrupting the courts. This is the deep state. And this is why Trump's interested in this, because this goes to Shaheen, and Shaheen goes to the Ukraine. And the banking department is the laundering system that goes through this state as a portal to the Ukraine. This is going to be beautiful. We're going to make history here.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So, let me get this straight.
And you're going to be part of it. But go ahead.
I don't really want to. I like my anonymity. I like my...
Well, you're a witness now.
You're going to complicate my life, Mike? Please don't.
You know what? I'll either make you famous or infamous. Your choice.
I prefer none of the above. I like to sit in my house and watch football.
Well, you're one or the other now, brother. But go ahead. Let's hope you're a good guy for your own sake.
I'd like to think I'm a good guy.
I don't think so, Jeremiah.
Oh, come on. You hardly know me.
Listen, I know you work for the IRS. I know you're working out of the Portsmouth office. I know they're desperate, and I think you're an element that's going to try to leverage me. But go ahead, Jeremiah.
So you found Shaheen and Walker extorting you and involved in a Ponzi scheme.
It was Shaheen's Ponzi scheme. See, the problem with the Ponzi scheme, it gets into the banking department that's laundering the money for the corrupt. Right. And now Walker was leveraging me through the Department of Revenue, which is the same element that I was reporting all this to for the last 9 years that auctioned off my home. Now, in business, ready for this? This is the beauty. part. Shaheen represents the drug cartel. Did you know we have the largest drug cartel in the country? This guy, Dick Aganos. Right. And the banking department is laundering the money. But hold on now. I'm bringing this home for you. This is going to make history.
Drug cartel. Hang on, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm not as intelligent as you. I can't pick this stuff up as quickly as you. You've been living, eating, breathing, sleeping this stuff for years. I just picked this up 10 to 15 minutes ago.
You know what, Jeremiah? I don't necessarily believe that, but they did put you in a bad spot. So listen now. So this banking commission is laundering money, Shaheen's money, and control. His wife appointed the banking commissioner, and so now think about this. You ready? So now they're investigating the Ukraine and money laundering. That's what Shaheen's involved with. And at the same time, using to short me with the IRS for my silence. So this gets into drug laundering. This gets into money laundering. This gets into corruption in the court. This gets into the DEA. I mean, this is a beautiful thing.
Sounds like it.
Now listen, you know who's also on that $50 million settlement offer? The Department of Revenue and the Banking Department and the Banking Commissioner.
Which Department of Revenue? Mass Department of Revenue or New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
All right, they're the DRA, Department of Revenue Administration. Okay.
Right.
All right, I'm thinking Mass.
See, Walker had the supervisor for the DRA. He hired him on my case. Now, how about this? The DRA's on that $50 million settlement offer too. So they're all in desperation here. I get a hearing for they want to file bankruptcy, force of bankruptcy, to try to cover up the crime. But they need the IRS to pay to come in. So go ahead. So
no, I'm just trying to get this straight. I'm just so the bankruptcy to cover up the crime as well. Okay. So Mike, there's a lot of information. I'd love to talk to you. I don't know where the heck you are, but I'd love to talk to you in person.
Well, we are talking.
There's no hidden agenda. Yeah, but I just want to talk.
How about this? This is what I want you to do.
Okay.
I want you to call U.S. Attorney Lullen. I want you to call Vitola. Andrew. Right. So you know who he is.
I've seen him on TV. He wouldn't know me if we passed each other on the
So
street.
you remembered his first name from television, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, listen. Call him again. Say, can I look at all the evidence that Mike Gill given you? You know, about all of it. And then I want you to talk to Tom Morley of Titka too.
Tom, yeah, okay.
And then you can talk to Tim Campus and remind them, and they know, because I reported that to Titka, that we have them on a recorded conversation saying they have plants in my office. Those same plants are now witnesses.
Mike, slow down. I gotta be careful with Tom because Curtis is involved too, right?
Curtis, well, I would talk to Tom because the FBI's on it now. Now, Curtis is the accountant that happens to be his brother that was intercepting my mail for 3 years. Now, we have that mail. It's
intercepting the mail, okay.
Right, it was all sealed for 3 years. And all that mail now is if you talk to Andrew Lullen, U.S. Attorney Lullen, took it from me in camera by hand in front of witnesses, the mail. That mail is now part of a mail fraud complaint, and that is with U.S. Attorney, that is now with Special Agent Paul Ventura of the FBI in the Chelsea's office.
Mike, how'd you get a hold of Andrew Lilly? He's like the U.S. Attorney. He's like the top dog. How'd you get a conversation with the top dog?
The top dog, because the top dog knew exactly who I was. And when I walked into his office, he met me in person, in camera, under witness. So and how about this? You ready? The top dog has given me, through a 91A, an evidence list. It's all signed. In fact, if you go to the video, right? In fact, you can go to the last video, you'll see that Lullen received the evidence and given me the receipt of all the evidence.
Oh, wow, okay.
Right, so there's no question about it. See, Lullen knew exactly what was happening. Lullen knew to give out these releases, and that's why the extortion continues. Now, the FBI's in a spot because they didn't do it. They didn't move on it so now they're in a spot.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this, Mike.
Yeah.
I talked to your son on Friday and your ex-wife. Who's the one that
you talked to my ex-wife?
Yeah, I'm trying to find you, Mike. I don't know. I don't know where to find you.
Do you know that she's on that $50 million settlement offer too?
Is she serious?
Yeah. Now listen, Sarah's on that $50 million too.
Let me ask you a question, Mike. So,
You know who's paying her bills? The drug cartel.
no way.
Really, she gets $16,000 a month out of the Summersworth property half. It's, you know what it is? It's a hospice care. They sell drugs out of it, and what happens is they gotta pay for her silence because she knows what's going on.
So, hey, let me ask you this. So you have two ex-wives. So you have Sarah from the last three children that you had. The first two children, Mike, and then the other boy. What do you have? Three boys and four boys and a girl, is it? Something like that.
So you're up to date. So you know more than you're saying.
I saw pictures in Sarah's house in the office.
Oh, she wouldn't put up pictures with more. But you know what? That's fine.
Kids. One of your kids played basketball in St. A's.
Right. And all of them live under fear. My son Michael is being extorted by them right now. But you would know that already.
No, I honestly don't. But Mike, so did you have two ex-wives? Were you married to Michael's mother? And everything? Is it?
Why are you asking me that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to get background information.
Background information? I'm telling you to talk to the U.S. Attorney and the FBI. Talk to your own ticket department. Investigate Tom Morley. Speak to Tim Campus.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, Mike, here's my goal. I want the whole purpose of the phone of me reaching out to your son, Mike Jr., and to your ex-wife, Sarah, was to try to get a hold of you. And it looks like, we achieved some success. We talked on the phone. You called me on the phone today, and I appreciate the phone call.
I believe this is extortion, and I believe they're all desperate. And now that Trump has the information, they need me to sign those releases. So you know what they've always done to me? Extort me. So suddenly in 6 years, you happen to be the guy that called me. I'm just hoping, listen, you are a witness now.
You need to listen now. Mike.
Now who's the other gentleman listening to the phone call?
Well, it's not a gentleman. It's a lady, by the way, and her name is Special Agent Stacy, Stacey Martin.
And she works out of Portsmouth too?
Yeah,
Of course.
Now,
Right.
let me just tell you something. We work for the Internal Revenue Service. The Internal Revenue Service is one of the bureau agencies of the Treasury Department. So we work for Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin is the Treasury Secretary who reports to Donald Trump. So ultimately, we work for the executive branch of the IRS. So ultimately, the big boss is Donald J. Trump. So we work for Donald J. We don't work for Gene. So I just wanted to let you know the chain of command.
Well, you know something? I promise you that investigation, and I hope you're correct, but I don't believe you for a second.
Okay. Well,
And you know something? Trump has this information, and he wants Gene Shaheen. And you know who was the person who was my first contact with Trump giving him the evidence? Was Lewandowski.
oh, Corey?
He's gonna love this. You know him? Why don't you speak to Corey and see if he was taking my evidence?
I do him on Fox News, and that's about it.
Well, I've seen him in person handing my evidence about the IRS to him. Suddenly, the IRS is very important to Mr. Trump.
Okay.
And there's a video of me speaking to Howley, a 3-hour video.
So hey, Mike. So here's the thing. You called me. I appreciate the phone call. I appreciate the conversation we've had. But I just want to wrap things up. I'd like to talk to you in person. It would be myself and another agent that would meet you wherever you want to meet.
My suggestion is that you do your homework and you turn around and call FBI, Voluntola, and talk to U.S. Attorney Lowland. I'm not, listen, I know what this is.
So you're not interested in talking to me?
I just talked to you. What more do you want to talk about? It's time for you to investigate.
Mike, I want to talk to you.
I know what this is. I just talked to you.
I want to talk about these allegations.
I'm talking about the allegations. All right, then tell me what the allegations are.
Mike, as a matter of practice, usually I don't talk about this stuff over the phone. I'd rather talk to you in person about it.
Well, listen, I ain't buying that. Now, tell me what the allegations are. If you're not willing to tell me the allegations, no problem. Listen, the allegations is this extortion. The IRS is in trouble, and you're the last guy. I'm going to tell you something. This is a big problem for you because this is a long line, and you don't want to be the last guy. So I know exactly what you're doing. And I will let Howley know, and I'll let the president know, and I'll give them both your names.
Tell him I said hi. And Mike, let me so is it fair to conclude that you're not interested in talking to me in person?
Well, not after you, until you do your homework. You do your homework and you talk to all those individuals, and I'll be glad to talk to you, and we can bring Tom Morley in too. And maybe we can talk to U.S. Attorney Lowen at the same time.
Mike, I'd like to talk to you in the next few weeks. Is that possible?
Well, you talk to all those people, have U.S. Attorney Lowen call me and say, set that appointment up for me. If he does that, I'll meet wherever you want. But have Lowen call me, and he knows who I am, and he has the evidence, and it came with a full explanation. And if you doubt what I'm saying, one of my witnesses on the camera, ask Michael. And you know what we did? We put it on video.
Like this meeting wouldn't be involving Lelling.
But I think it should be, because I think this is another piece of extortion, and I'd like you to do it in front of the U.S. Attorney.
It's just involving myself and another agent.
Who's going to try to extort me.
Are you interested in having a meeting? Would you be interested in having a meeting in the next 2 weeks?
With U.S. Attorney Lowen only.
Okay, so you're only interested in meeting.
Unless, you know what, why don't you call your boss, you know, the guy who works directly for Trump, and I'll meet you in Washington.
Steve Mnuchin, you want me to call him?
Yeah, why don't you call him? And I'll tell you what, and I'll talk to Epoch Times Bureau Chief,
I don't have that.
Brady, and you know something, and I'll have him sit in the meeting too. I would welcome those meetings, but I know what this is, and if it's not that, and I just explained to you the extortion.
I'm just a low man on the totem pole. I don't have the influence to contact Steve.
We all know that that's bullshit, and that you're the last guy in the line. Listen, I believe you are down on the line, which is why they had you do this. But the bottom line here is there is an investigation. The IRS is desperate, and they did put plants. The same people, Shaheen's people, and then tied in with Aganos, the head of the drug cartel. I mean, we're going to make history here, and you are a witness now.
Okay. All right. So, Mike, it's fair to conclude you're not interested in talking to myself and another agent in the next few weeks. Within the next few weeks.
Not with you alone. I'm saying to you, I'm open to talking to you. And I'm talking to you in person. But I want a representative from the FBI use seats. U.S. Attorney Lowen, who has my evidence and my communications and the evidence of what I'm discussing with you. So not only can he verify that he has all that information, and so in other words, at that point,
Mike, your condition is you will talk to me only if Andrew Lelling is in the room.
No, I want Lowen there, all voluntola from the FBI, because there is an investigation.
Lelling and the stack from the FBI there.
And/or either one, because they each received my evidence, and I have the receipt of all the evidence. And if you question Lowen, you talk to my son. Why don't you ask my son if we given Lowen the evidence by hand? He was with me.
Mike, I'm not interested in talking to your son. I'm just interested.
Well, you just talked to him, and you even talked to an ex-wife.
I talked to him in order to locate you, in order to open up a chain of low man on the totem pole. I don't have the influence to contact Steve.
We all know that that's bullshit, and that you're the last guy in the line. Listen, I believe you are down on the line, which is why they had you do this. But the bottom line here is there is an investigation. The IRS is desperate, and they did put plants. The same people, Shaheen's people, and then tied in with Aganos, the head of the drug cartel. I mean, we're going to make history here, and you are a witness now.
Okay. All right. So, Mike, it's fair to conclude you're not interested in talking to myself and another agent in the next few weeks. Within the next few weeks.
Not with you alone. I'm saying to you, I'm open to talking to you. And I'm talking to you in person. But I want a representative from the FBI use seats. U.S. Attorney Lowen, who has my evidence and my communications and the evidence of what I'm discussing with you. So not only can he verify that he has all that information, and so in other words, at that point,
Mike, your condition is you if Andrew Lully is in the room?
No, I want Mullen there, all Volunventola from the FBI, because there is an investigation.
Lully and the stack from the FBI there.
And or, either one, because they each received my evidence, and I have the receipt of all the evidence. And if you question Lullen, you talk to my son. Why don't you ask my son if we given Lullen the evidence by hand? He was with me.
Mike, I'm not interested in talking to your son. I'm just interested.
Well, you just talked to him. And you even talked to an ex-wife.
I talked to him in order to locate you, in order to open up a chain of conversations with you.
Why didn't you mail me something?
Because I don't know where to mail it to.
Well, you know what? You know where my son is, right? Why don't you mail that to my son?
Because it doesn't involve your son, it involves you.
Well, you spoke to my son.
I did.
And you spoke to my ex-wife, and it didn't involve either one of them. Do you not want to put something in writing?
No, I mean, I'm not against it, but...
Then you know something? Give me something in writing.
Okay.
Give me some, and give it to my son.
Where do I send it?
Well, you met my son. Give it to him.
But Mike, like I said, your son is an adult. Your son's a 31-year-old adult. Your son isn't involved in this.
Well, you involved him in it. You dropped in and talked to him. And you know what? He's a victim of this. This extortion has cost him his inheritance, cost him his properties. I don't think you want to put something in writing.
I don't want to...
You know what? I know exactly who you are and what you're doing. You know what? This is too obvious. So you know what? I'll give the information. I'm forwarding this information and our conversation.
Perfect. Okay.
Which is being witnessed and recorded.
I told you not to record.
And I told you that you're a criminal, and this is going right to Epoch Times in the next 5 minutes.
Yes, you. Take care.
I'm not surprised you want to hang up. So that's exactly what that is.
Evidence. You see all these emails? The emails and the settlement offers?
And who offered you a settlement?
Liberty International, the lawyers of Morris Mahoney. Now, Morris Mahoney pretended to be my lawyers to get through statute of limitations. That's what Marisa will tell you. You ready? They offered me $50 million on the settlements. Let's take a look at that book.
I mean, in what context did they offer you a settlement? You were suing them?
What they did was, by covering all that up, I wasn't suing them, I was trying to put them in jail. I was using Morris Mahoney, and you'll hear recordings saying, because they could get me a case with the FBI. That's what they were for. They sat on it to get past that statute of limitations. It turns out Liberty, who offered the $50 million, is their biggest client in the world. Okay? So they are on it, and that settlement is signed. Now think about this. You know who's on that settlement? Bill Shaheen. You know who's on it? The banking department, the banking commission, the Department of Revenue. Every lawyer that I had through the divorce, through the business, all requesting their releases,
So
including the IRS.
Okay, so just go back to this. So how do they offer you a settlement if you're not suing them?
There it is. Why? How about this? I didn't have to sue them. I just was going to put them in jail.
So they preemptively offered you a...
What happened was, when they turned around and I caught them, they wanted me to go, and I have recordings, Nick Alexander, to go to a hotel room, never to meet all the other people involved. And they wanted to settle. And I said, I'm not doing it. Simple put. And you'll see the emails to verify that. You ready? I said, I will not give you a release. It wasn't about the money, it was about the releases. And you'll see coinciding emails that saying, I wouldn't take it. You'll see a tape from Married from the Mob. The woman was there to offer me $50 million, and she admitted it. And she admitted working. See that kill Gill? That's a recording of a hitman who turned around and said Aganos and Sequoias were trying to hire him to murder me. And you hear that he goes on that he is a collector
So
for it.
on tape, you hear this man saying that Dick Aganos put out a hit on you?
That Sequoias, Dick Aganos' right-hand man, turned around and said this, how much to make him go away? And I said, was that Aganos? He goes, that's Aganos' guy.
Now, just to be clear, in offering you a $50 million settlement, who specifically offered you that?
Liberty, here it is. See, now understand this. What they do is, they wanted me to, what it is a stipulation and confidentiality agreement. Don't tell anybody. Let's take a look, right? The wife's attorney, my attorney, all these attorneys. Look. Matt Kozel, Alex Walker wants a release. Justice, Maria, all these people want a release. And what for? All right? Markman, Divine Miller, Lisa Tracy. She was my controller, the one that was working for Shaheen. Tim Powell, he was the head of the IRS from Portland, who told me that it was Gene Shaheen. Think about that. His name's on that release. They know he told me.
So who's Liberty?
As an insurer, you ever heard of Liberty Mutual?
Yeah.
You know who the parent company Liberty Mutual is? Liberty.
So the parent company of Liberty Mutual offered
Liberty,
you.
yeah. It is Bill Shaheen, by the way, on the settlement.
They wanted you to sign a contract saying that you wouldn't talk about this kind of corruption anymore, this drug running and stuff like that.
Right. All done.
And
So I could
this company, Liberty, was going to pay you $50 million to get you to stop talking about this.
settle. Well, not just stop talking, settle for any potential claims. So, well, and they say that a settlement, a global settlement to aim. And look at all the people who are on this. These are witnesses. Look, William McConnell, Divine Milliman, Wiggins and North, Internal Revenue, Banking Department, DRA, Friedman.
So these are witnesses for who?
And it's signed. No, these are all people asking, this company's asking for releases. Every attorney, every accountant, every single one needed a release. You know why? It was one giant operation. How it got giant? Because every time they wanted me to settle, I said no. And they got bigger. Now think about this. When they turned around and went after me with Aganos, the drug cartel, they didn't want to sue me. They wanted to shoot me. They didn't want to go to court. Once they missed a couple times, then they had it. They had to. So think about this. What they did was leverage me with who? Well, I don't know. Ready? They leveraged me with Divine Milliman. What's the attachments on my property? The wife, the IRS, the DRA, Wiggins and North. Now think about this. Every person that leveraged me there is on this $50 million settlement offer. Now think about that. How is that possible? 6, 7 years, right? That we have the same people who are leveraging me now, leveraged me then, and wanted to pay me $50 million for the release. You know how they're going to pay me now? They're going to consolidate their situation. They opened up a case with the Treasury. The Treasury is going to have me cut a deal. You ready? $100 million, $200 million, and guess what? You know who's on the releases? Gene Shaheen and Bill Shaheen. And you know what you do? You sign it with the feds. They put a sealing order. You tell anybody, you go to jail. And the feds don't screw around. And they will gladly put me away. See? Perfect.
So can I just summarize basically everything that you've said so far and tell me if this is accurate or not? So you
This is the
were
blood pressure test, by the way, proof.
an advocate for people in New Hampshire, mostly senior citizens, who are getting defrauded by a Ponzi scheme, the FRM company, which was defrauding them, right? And as you investigated this, you found a lot of people told you that Bill Shaheen, who had been your lawyer at one time, was involved with this, was making money off this somehow. And the Banking Commission in New Hampshire wanted to look the other way on it because Bill Shaheen was involved.
And appointed with Gene Shaheen, the actual banking commissioner.
So Bill Shaheen is very good friends with this guy Aganoff.
Partners.
And this guy owns a medical center,
A hospital.
hospital.
Treatment centers. He is the largest building landowner in the state. He owns more property. Shaheen and him get a HUD deal. The government helps pays for it, and the guy builds more units. He's the largest real estate holder in the state.
So and at one time he was charged with being involved with drug.
6 times.